Welcome back to the JRPG series. In this episode, we're going to start working on our stats menu. That way we can open it up from our main menu screen, and it will automatically find the player, read the stat resources we created way back in video 1, maybe 2, and display the level, HP, MP, attack, defense, and speed in a simple vertical layout. We'll also wire up a back button that closes StatsScreen and returns you to the main menu. So, what will we create is a new scene called StatsScreen.tscn. It'll be the overlay, the UI overlay, so it can sit above the gameplay over your or in your menu. We'll use a CanvasLayer root, centered panel container, and vertical list of labels for the stats row and the back button. So let's go ahead and get that going, shall we? We're going to create a new scene, like I said. This will be a new user interface, so we'll click that. That'll give us our control. Let's go into 2D mode so we can see what we're doing. Let's see, what do we want? A panel container. So I'm going to press Control A, and I'm going to search for panel container. This guy right there, I'm going to add that in. Let's go ahead and change that name real quick, and we're going to call it panel. And for the scripting sake, we're going to call this root, the control. Alright, what we want to do is let's go ahead and make a few adjustments to this. We're going to want the layout of our panel to be centered, so we're going to come over here and we're going to go centered like that. Let's go ahead and add a margin container next as a child of the panel, so margin container. And let's see here. From here, let's see, what can we do with it? Layouts. No. Transform. Container sizing. No, those are actually really good. Let's go. We'll leave it for now, and then if we need to, we'll mess with it. Let's wait to see how things start panning out while it's in there. The first thing we are going to need, though, inside of here, if we press Control A, let's look for a VBox. Add that in. We'll just change the name to VBox by removing container. And inside of here, we're going to add a few things. So, VBox, we're going to add a label. This is going to be called title label, and our text is going to be called stats. Just like that. And inside our VBox container, we're going to have 6 rows of HBox containers. So HBox. And then let's go ahead and just duplicate that for 5 and 6. So from here, we need to add some stuff. So let's go ahead and add a label. Whoops, we will save that, but not right now. Control A, there we go. Add a label to each HBox container. This one's going to be called level label, if I can type. There we go. And it's going to say level 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this and drag it under here. And this is going to be called HP label, whoops, no spaces. Change our text to HP 0 out of 0. Explain why in a bit. I guess I can explain why now. Basically, what's going to happen is that our StatsResources.gd is going to fill in all the blanks here. So that's why. So instead of 0 out of 0, say like 100 out of 100, etc., etc. So there's not many more videos left though. I'm gonna do something where we need to do item consumption. We need to do a equipment or equipping items, right? Weapons and armor. And that'll be it for the inventory / menu stuff, or main menu stuff, right? Or in-game menu. Let's see. This one's gonna be attack label, and so we attack. I'll just do that for right now. After that, something I haven't done that we should probably do is adding characters. I don't know how long that's going to take me to create because, like, as you guys should already know, I like to test this out the week before and 2 weeks before, in between, sometimes the week of. Really just depends on how work is going. Plus, I'm finishing up college for my master's degree, so I got a lot going on. And then the studio, which I haven't posted any updates on. I'll probably do that here soon. As you guys know, there was, or maybe still is, a devlog from the last poem up there. We decided to. We haven't shelved it, but we're working on 2 projects, and we're starting to put all the resources into the first one, which is the Variable Valley, and I'll talk to that probably in another video. I want to get all the concept art together and kind of make something nice to talk about it, but we are going to still be working on the last poem, and going from there. So it's gonna be fun. It's an exciting ride to be on. I got an amazing team, and hopefully, you guys will love what we put out whenever it's done. All right, so we got our 6 rows here, right? So our 6 labels: our level, our HP. You know what? Let's go ahead and make this consistent with everything else. Like the only one that doesn't have a colon in there. There we go. Got our label, got our HP, MP, attack, defense, and speed. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a separator. And actually that's going to be a child of the VBox probably. It's probably best there. So let's go ahead and add a child node. Let's H separator. There it is. And then underneath that will be a button, and no, not as a child. It needs to be a child of the VBox, not of the separator. There we go. It's gonna be called back button. Back. Oops, there we go. All right. Now let's get our GDScript going. So the next thing is gonna be over here. Cancel that. We need to add it to our root node and make sure that we are not in our resources but in our scripts. This is still part of the UI. So I should really probably put something in here for this, but I'm going to call this stats. And press open. Like a folder for the rest of this. It's kind of bothering me. It's just hanging out there in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. Create. Alright. So rather than you watching me spend like 30 minutes typing code, and I copied it down, the code will be in your folder, but I'm going to kind of talk about what this code does with you guys, because it's more important to learn what it's doing versus just doing it, because I don't want you guys to get stuck in the proverbial tutorial hell and having to rely on tutorials. I want you guys to actually learn why we're doing things the way we're doing it, right? So you should already be familiar with our variables, right? These are the variables we're going to start with. We created a custom signal called closed. We have our player variable here that's going to look for a stats variable. It's going to look for the stats resources, and then in our ready function we have our background close. We're going to tell it to find the player. We're going to have a find player function. We're going to have a get stats function and a populate labels function. In this ready function we also have a couple of checks that'll throw up some errors if let's delete that, can't find the player. Alright, so the first one is this on back button, this on back pressed. There we go, words. It's gonna emit our close signal, right? And all that's gonna do is just say, hey, close the screen, and go back to where it needs to go. From there, what we're gonna do is the find player node, and what we're gonna do, what this does is it's called once at ready locates the player instance, and it's going to search for a few different things in case it doesn't work, in case it can't find anything. First it's going to look for a node in the group player, right? And so if you haven't already done so, go ahead and open up your player and create a group. And if you haven't done that before, I'll show you how now. Let me delete this one. Right, so what you're going to do is in your inspector you're going to click on node. By default it'll be on signals, but you're going to press groups. You're going to press this plus sign, and you're just going to type in the word player with a lowercase p. Make sure that you type it just like it shows there. Right, now if you don't want to add the player, if you forget, or if you don't want to add the group, oh hey, sorry about that. That was my ESPN notification. Let me silence that. So if you forget to add the player to a group, or you choose not to, it's also going to look for any actual players in your scene tree named player with a capital P. Okay. If it still can't find anything, it's just like I said. So that's going to be actually the last way. It's going to look for, in case you type it with a capital P, then I put that one in there, and then here is where it's going to find or look for anything that's called player. Okay. This is going to keep things easy, so you don't have to hard code everything and put like root / overworld / player in case it's in the scene somewhere, right? So that way it's just going to find it, and then automatically without a whole bunch of extra typing for you guys, kind of like an efficiency thing. The next thing we have is our get stats from the player. Right, it's going to be called after this, because it needs to find the player before it can start looking for stats for it, right? And this also is going to look for a few different things. It's going to look to see if there's a stats resources being used. It's going to look for the names. It's going to scan every property of the player if you don't have your stats resources. That way, maybe like if you decided to hard code everything into the player controller for some crazy insane reason, then it'll do that. If you can't find it, then up here it's going to tell you, hey, you're missing that. Let's let's fix that. But after it finds that, okay, it's gonna start looking for the stats to populate our labels, which brings us here, right? So what this does is it's gonna take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 labels, right? It's gonna look for the label, which is an integer, the HP, which would be a current HP and a max HP, current MP, max MP, attack, defense, and speed, all of which are going to be integers. Okay, from there, it's gonna centralize the UI fill-in logic and your stats names, and you can adjust it all in one place as you need it, right? So alright, so from here what we're gonna do is update our menu screen code, and we need to find the on stats pressed. We're gonna go ahead and comment that out. It's gonna make it go red for a bit, and that's fine. Let's come back up here to our variables. We need to add a variable real quick. This one's actually gonna be a constant, and it's gonna be called stats screen scene, and it's going to be a packed scene. And we're going to go ahead and preload our where is it? Stats menu. So we're going to right click on stats menu, copy path, paste that inside of some quotation marks right there. That'll get that going. And then down here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable inside of our stats pressed function. That variable is going to be called the stats screen, and it's going to be of type stats screen. And that's going to be looking for a stats screen scene. Did not find type stats screen in current scope. Interesting. That's because I am a knucklehead and I mistyped it. So it's going to be stats. That's what it's looking for. That should fix it. And it did not. It's supposed to be looking for the script. Oh, because I have it with a cap. Now, let's see. No. Why is that not working? I know why it's not working. You know what I forgot at the top here? To give it a class name. Because that's what it needs, is a class name. Class underscore name. This is at the top of your stats script. Add this class name, stats screen. There we go. That'll go there. We're gonna come back. Oh, save that. Come back over here and put stats screen. There we go. Now that that's sorted out, what we can do is finish up our updates here. And it's gonna look for stats screen scene dot instantiate. Oops. As that cursor is necessary but annoying. Alright. And we're gonna instantiate it as a stats screen. There we go. From there we're gonna say get tree dot current scene dot add child, and that stats screen. And then we're going to say self.visible equals false. This. So I need a function on stats closed stats_screen stats screen, and that's going to be a void. Self.visible is equal to true. I'm aware I need to delete those indents. That's fine. I'll do that in a minute. Stats_screen.q free. Alright, so let's go ahead and delete these real quick. Intentions. So everybody's happy. Let's say stats up here screen dot closed dot connect. I'm going to say on stats underscore, I think my shift key is going out, closed dot bind. We're going to bind it. Let's say stats screen. Alright. From there, alright, now that we got all that done, we need to come down here to our stats resources. A few things that I noticed earlier this week that we didn't do is we need to add a level. So you can say add export variable. We're going to call it level. So we have type integer. We're going to say 1. Actually, we'll say, for the sake of the video, we'll say 2. That way it doesn't look, that way you can see that it actually changes the number for it. And then at export variable, I'll call it speed. It's going to be integer. We're going to say 4 because it's low leveled. Something I also need to do is change the variables here. So I have max underscore HP, current underscore HP. I'm actually going to change this to match the code because it'll be easier than changing the code altogether. So you just want these to kind of line up with that, right? So I don't know why I put HP. That should be MP. MP current. Attack and defense are fine. And then magic attack and magic defense. I'm going to leave that. I didn't put it in here, but you guys know how to add it, so you should be able to add it on your own. Think of it like a little challenge to yourselves. So let's go ahead and press play and check that out, though. When we press escape, we have our items. That works. We press close, and it closes the whole thing. I got to fix that. We'll press escape again. We're going to go to stats, and there you go. Level 2, 100 out of 100, 50 out of 100, 10, 5, 4. Right, so everything's good. Back button is apparently a little wonky and does not want to work. That time it worked. That's weird. I do gotta fix this. I noticed that that's not working, so let's check. Back button is pressed and works. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and just quit the game and go back. And I guess let's fix that back button real quick on the menu. Actually, before we do that, I want to do something real quick. I don't like... I was going to change that, but we don't have to actually instantiate it into the town manually, so I think I'm going to leave it, actually. Never mind. Let's go ahead and find our main menu. Is this it? This is it. Let's find our... Alright, now let's go to our code. So there's close. So where's our close function? Did I forget to... create that? It looks like I might have forgot to create that function. Oh, there it is. So that's weird. Let's dissect that and figure that out. Alright, so as we're looking at our code, the code itself is fine because there's the close button, but something I did, let's see, that means it's going to be somewhere in the inspector. So if we're looking at the code and we come under here to processes, we notice that it says inherit. Let's change that to always, and that should fix it. Hopefully. Let's come over here and press escape. Stats. That one is probably the same thing, really, but if we press escape, you can see it still pops up there. Press back button and it goes back, right? So try this again. Press escape, back to game. So that was it. The process mode is set to inherit, so it's inheriting whatever the last thing, I guess, was. So there's that. Now let's go ahead and quit the game. Let's go over here to our stats menu on this back button. We're going to do the same process, always, right? And let's go ahead and play all that. Remember, when you press play, it saves everything automatically. So stats, back works, stats, back works, item. I need to change that to the close, but back to game works. Right now, our inventory, is this the one? UI, this close button right here. Let's see. Just some things, so it's just gonna make it better. Where is my close button stuff? Hide panel. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so this is what we're going to focus on changing. And what we're going to do is, instead of having all this, alright, so in our hide panel, what you're going to do is a variable menu layer. It's going to have type node, and then we're going to get a tree and plant it, and it's going to spring forth the root.find child, and that's going to be called menu screen layer, because that's what we named it. It's going to either flat throw up a true or false, right? Did I miss something? No, I don't think I did. Oh, I know, because I have two. That's why. There we go. And from there, if menu layer is not equal to null, so if it finds the menu layer, then we're going to say menu underscore layer dot visible is equal to true. Save all that. Let's give it a test. Escape still works. Stats work. Goes back to the game. Our items, there it is. We can still select them. There's our inventory label. There's our close button, which I'll probably at some point move down here. But for now, that's fine. Close. And there it is. Quit. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do, and the last thing is, I'm going to, you know what, no, I'll say that for just like an improvements, like a bug thing, just things that generally irritate me with how I've done things so far. But until then, keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next video.